All right, my love, I just want to dive straight in and ask you this question because you are one of my favorite fashion icons. We've been in each other's lives for quite a while
We
now,
have, yes,
quite a
in and
number of
out of
years.
each other's
Yes,
lives. Yeah.
yes. And the whole time I've known you, you are always such a style icon to me because you have your own distinct sense of personal style and you're not afraid of color, you're not afraid of print, you're not afraid of accessorizing. And for me, that's especially inspirational. So, the first question I want to start with is how do you get dressed every day?
Well, sometimes it can be planned, and other times it can be very kind of open the cupboard doors and see what jumps out at me and throw it on and run out the door. But I guess sitting in the studio on my own is some days it's easy to just throw on a tracksuit, and other days if I know I'm going to be in front of camera, then I will be a bit more considered in what I'm going to wear. And sometimes I think it's just I often will just lie in bed and think about my outfit. It's just what I do. I just workshop things and I just think, what patterns would look great together, what layers. I love a great jacket. I love outerwear. And I think what I love to do is layer. And so I think about, perhaps texture, what works with something, and it might just be a great pair of jeans. And then you layer it with a beautiful blouse and then a jacket over that. And then, of course, having my own accessories brand, it'll be what jewelry would I add to finish it off? And I know Coco Chanel said before you step out the door, you should remove something. Well, I'm probably the opposite, and I probably add something. And then of course, it's probably, what shoes are going to finish it off as well. And often for me, that's a great pair of trainers or something. And then heels in the evening.
Yeah, cool. So for you, it really does start with the outfit and then you add the accessories and I suppose the finishing touches at the end. And do you take into account, I'm really interested to know, do you take into account like your mood, your energy levels, the weather, and does
Absolutely.
does what you're doing that day come into factor a little bit or not much at all?
I think so. If I'm going to be, packing orders and if it's cool, if I want to just be warm and comfortable, it will be just a nice pair of jeans that I know I can throw it on and I'll be comfortable sitting all day. I think some of us like with Perry and that sort of thing where you're widening around the waist and things like that. So you really just do want comfort if you're sitting. So it might be a great pair of, even elastic pull-on pants. And I think there's lots of great styles like that that have got stripes up the side and that sort of thing. But then it might be a great tee and then a blazer over the top. So the blazer might lift it if I know I've got a Zoom call or something like that. So certainly my mood, I think again in Perry, you're so up and down with the mood and the way you feel, and whether that's anxiety or whether that's, teary. I know with myself when I was first going to Perry, I was just so teary all the time. So I probably needed something that would try and boost the way that I was feeling, boost my energy. And then, that might be even wearing my necklace I'm wearing today, the Sicily necklace with all those semi-precious stones in it. And I think, you know, it sounds a bit woo-woo to some people I know sometimes, but I love the thought that what I'm wearing, the semi-precious stones will raise my vibration because of the color and make me feel, give me energy for the day.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree with that. I mean, just the other day, I tried a new outfit combo because I had ordered some new tank tops. I'm such a tank top aficionado because where I live, it is
Yes,
like
is warm.
it's always warm. It can get quite humid. I'm very comfortable in a tank top, and I love that I can pair that with either a maxi skirt or some like really cool cotton pants. And so had this tank top arrive that I'd ordered, and I just so happened to have some washing on the chair in my bedroom that I hadn't put away yet. And I looked at the tank top and I looked at these pants and I put them together for the very first time. And I was like, just that thrill of a new outfit combo just gave me such life and energy that morning. So I put it on and I like put on my little accessories and my slip-on shoes and I got so many compliments. And it was just so lovely. It just put me in such a good energy, and I was smiling and I was like carrying myself differently that day. And then it was almost, it was like that automatic, okay, add that into the favorite outfits file. And
Absolutely.
and there was a time there when I was working in a fashion boutique this year. I did 6 months at this beautiful fashion boutique in Byron Bay.
Yes,
And
where I bumped into you.
yes, exactly.
Yes,
And
earlier in the year. I
yeah,
loved that boutique.
yes,
So
me
gorgeous.
too, me too. And one of my favorite things to do when I was working in there, because there were these incredible, huge full-length mirrors with lots of natural light, was taking photos of myself in outfits that I really liked to help me remember those different combinations. And I was just wondering, like, how do you source your inspiration or remember favorite outfits? Do you have a folder on your phone of photos of yourself that you saved? Do you have Pinterest boards? Like, how do you like to do it?
I am actually not organized like that at all. I there's certainly accounts that I follow of women who really inspire me with a more eclectic sort of style, I would say, and unexpected combinations that give me inspiration to tap into my own wardrobe and go, okay, what would go? But I don't save outfits. I don't do anything like that. So I'm much more like, okay, what do I feel like wearing today? And it's, a mood more so, I would say, than what did Sarah Jessica Parker wear? And because she's such an inspiration to me, or Carrie, I should say, not Sarah Jessica Parker. So I think it's more that I just go by my shape as well. I think where our shape changes so much, and I know myself, I've stayed relatively this, similar sort of shape, through peri and that sort of thing. But I know girlfriends whose body shapes have really changed and they really struggle to kind of work out what suits them or what they feel good in. And so I think, yeah, I just really go into my wardrobe and think, do I want to wear something that's nipped in at the waist? And what would, do I feel like volume on the top, like a t-shirt, so it's more relaxed feeling? Or do I want a sexy little tank top? Like you said, that might show a bit of cleavage and then a great necklace and that sort of thing. So I do go a lot on intuition, I think. But that's not to say that I won't get on my, Instagram and go through my favorite style icons or whatever and look for some inspiration and go, okay, what have I got in my wardrobe that I could create that same kind of look?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And there's one particular very close girlfriend of mine who she and I have been having a discussion about personal style for a really long time now. And we're both the same age. We're both 41, and we're really looking towards women who are older than us. Like we are really actively, like we have put our intention out to the universe. We are like, universe, send me these incredible women who are in their late 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, who are just so comfortable in their sense of self and expressing themselves through their personal style because that's what I want to look towards. I don't want to have, God bless them, and I was one once, some 20-something-year-old telling me what to wear when she and I are completely different body shapes.
Yes,
I've gone through 20 more years than her. My body isn't what it used to be, and it's going to change again, no doubt, in these coming decades, and
yes.
that's fine. I'm completely at peace with that. But I would
Mm.
love to know, you mentioned Carrie Bradshaw, of course, ultimate style icon for like pushing boundaries, color clashing, print clashing, all the fun, having fun with fashion.
Yes.
Is there anybody else in particular that you open up your Instagram and they just make you smile, they make you happy, they make you inspired that we could go and check out as women in our 40s and 50s and beyond?
Yeah, I think I love it when people do push the boundaries a little bit. And I think, you might wear a great sequined skirt with a denim jacket and trainers. Like, I love that really kind of eclectic combination of textures and pattern. And it does take confidence to put it on, but once you put it on, it gives you even more confidence, I think. So yes, certainly I would say I go back through, old episodes of Sex and the City and the movies and also the new series as well, because I guess, I've grown with those women. So I think the styling of those shows is just so fabulous. So I think that's definitely a great source of inspiration. A lot of the Scandi girls, I think, influences and probably a mixed age, some of the obviously younger girls, but then there's Greece Graham, who's, I think that's how you pronounce it, Grece, and I think Graham is her surname, but she's in her 60s, and she just wears clothes with such confidence and so much elegance. And sometimes she wears something that's more pared back, and other times it'll just be, a real assortment of texture and pattern and heels. And the reason she pulls it off is because of confidence. And I think that's what a lot of women struggle with, is that they perhaps don't feel confident putting things together to then go out and feel confident wearing it and have that air of confidence. But what clothing does once you put it on is actually give you that when you step out of the house. So I'm just trying to think who else. There's so many, and I think I do actually. I have such a sense of nostalgia as well, and I've always loved resort wear, caftans, and just that really relaxed glamour of like the 60s and 70s. So I do look back to a lot of women from that era, Bianca Jagger and oh, so many. I just can't think off the top of my head all the names of the women that I look to. But that certainly is a real form of inspiration for me, is to look back on all of those kind of women, like Jackie O, her sister Lee Radwell. So lots of women from that era that I get so much inspiration. And I find that clothing is just so timeless. And it was a really powerful time for women as well. In the 60s and 70s, women were really stepping into their own and had this sense of confidence and a bit of sexiness too. And I think that's when we get to a certain age, don't stop being sexy. Like, we're beautiful, sexy, mature women, and we're stepping into, I think, what you said. We don't need to look at young women and think, oh, I wish I was that, because we have so much knowledge, we have so much wisdom, and we have so much to give at this age. And I think more and more we're seeing women do that, and we should be mirroring that, to my own daughter. And I think we share a love of clothes, and she gets ideas from me and I get ideas from her. So I also think don't stop wearing things. Like, I think people sometimes think, is it age appropriate? But I see women with amazing shapely bodies who are wearing sexy dresses, showing some cleavage, and I love that. I think, why shouldn't we be able to be sexy?
I agree. I absolutely agree. And that is, there's a US based stylist called Alison Bornstein that I came across thanks to a girlfriend of mine. And she has this three-word fashion philosophy for describing your own personal style. And so the three words that I'm currently really resonating with are classic 70s bombshell. And she said what it is about those three words is not just them individually, but how they come together that really makes it a unique expression of your personal style. And for me, classic can be, a great pair of jeans, like you said, a crisp white shirt, or a really good fitting white tank top. And then 70s is, oh, I just love the decade. I just love the fashion of the 70s. I love the vibe, the accessories, the colors, all of it like just speaks to me. And it also has that sort of bohemian sort of lilt to it as
Yes.
well. And then bombshell for me took me a while to settle on that word because I really wanted something that encapsulated all aspects of femininity. So like
Yes.
sexy, elegant, powerful, beautiful, feminine, all of the above, right? And I just
Yes.
think bombshell, like a guy can't be a bombshell, but a
No.
woman, a woman can be a bombshell. And so for me, it's those three words that I like to combine and play with. And I really love what you said about like playing with textures, playing with colors, playing with putting a more dressy piece with a more casual piece, and then adding some accessories to like tune into what it is you're doing that day, like choosing sneakers over heels because you're going to be running around and doing things and whatever. And also just getting your inspiration not just from Instagram and Pinterest, but like revisit your favorite movies, revisit your favorite TV shows, revisit the women of decades past who you just love, and
Absolutely.
pay attention to what it is that you love about it. I don't think we get curious enough, do we? We just go, oh, yeah, I've always loved her.
Very
She's
true.
fabulous. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, if you love Victoria Beckham, what, like, analyze her. What do you love about her? And then what can you take from her and experiment and create your own version of whatever it is, whether it's
Absolutely.
her eye makeup or her the way she pairs her accessories or whatever, you know?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And I actually just finished last night watching the documentary, the Victoria Beckham
Oh,
documentary. I highly
Ali.
recommend it. It was just so refreshing, and she was so open and so honest. And about the debt, the millions of dollars of being in debt, and obviously being supported by her husband, although I would say it's their money, but she did refer to it, as David's money that he was investing in her. But what an incredible relationship they had. And she was just very candid, and she was judged a lot to start with about, she was just a pop star. She was just a wag, and she was looked down upon for a long time in the fashion industry. And I just loved that about her, that she evolved as well. She looks back, and it was just her being creative, and sometimes it was about attention seeking or whatever, but she was very open about that, and she had such a great sense of humor, which I find quite lovely as well. But she looks back on those years of her, trying different looks, and she evolved, and you see how she evolved, and she has she's very talented. She has such a great eye for shape and fabrics, and obviously with the beauty element, that's what really catapulted her brand, because she was in a lot of trouble, as I said, but the beauty element of it really just, yeah, exploded the brand, I guess. And that's what she knew. It was natural for her. She'd been sitting for years in a makeup chair and watched how they did it and knew what worked for her. And it was when she started sitting down in front of the camera and talking her followers through, looks and that sort of thing. And I think that's what we want. That's what we want to connect. We want to hear people's stories. And for her to be so refreshingly open, that's what we gravitate towards. It makes us feel something. And I think, um, as women, you do want that connection. You do want that, oh, well, I could do that, or I could do that smoky eye. And she makes it seem relatable. So yeah, it's very aspirational, but it's also very achievable for all of us too. So I really enjoyed that and would recommend that to anyone. It was a great series.
Me too. I absolutely loved it. I devoured it in one night, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be rewatching it again.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
also, that actually did really inspire me. I've been wanting to do a makeup lesson for such a long
Mhm.
time, and there's a particular makeup brand that is here in Byron Bay called Eye of Horus, which has always been a favorite of mine. And
Mhm.
so I finally went. I booked in for my makeup lesson. I had it last week, and I have to say the woman who did my makeup, who did the lesson with me, she was so beautiful because she really took the time to listen to me, about, what's my skin, what is my skin like? What do I do every day? What are my preferences? Where do I sort of tap out at that's too many products, or that's too many processes or steps, or that's too complicated. And then she took me through an everyday makeup look, and every single step explained why she was doing something and why it worked. And I think that's really what came through with Victoria Beckham's, mini tutorials she was doing on her Instagram, was just explaining why she did it and why it worked. And that, I think that why, once people have an understanding, that really sort of cements the learning and then gives you permission and the freedom to explore and play and try it for yourself. And I think, coming back to what we were talking about as well, like our own personal fashion icons, is really understanding why you love the way they dress.
Mhm.
Then that gives you a really strong sort of, I suppose, I don't know, like wisdom or something to lean on to then take into your own wardrobe and go, okay, well, if I love the way she does that because of that, that and that because of this, then how can I do it my own way? And the same can be said for, for makeup, for hair, for clothing, for accessorizing, for all of it, really, right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I think when I've tried to come, get more in front of the camera, And I do get such lovely feedback when I do, in terms of if I'm, I usually just show the top part perhaps, and then I'll say why I've layered something, why I've got a longer pendant, and then I might have something high up around my neck, and then I might have added a big statement earring. And sometimes people can actually see then, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to achieve with that. And oh, actually, I haven't tried a statement earring before. Maybe I'll just try the statement earring without the necklaces to start with and sort of ease into that. But when you put those earrings on, how does that make you feel? And for me, whether it's the earrings or whether it's stacks of bangles, it's even little things like in when I'm wearing bangles, the little chimes that it makes when I'm working and I'm being creative. So it's little things to me like that that offer moments of joy in your day. And when you put your statement earrings on and you get lots of compliments, or grab a quick look in a reflection of some sparkles or something. And I have so many girlfriends that are such magpies and are just drawn to anything with sparkle and that sort of thing. So I think I'm a very, I guess, natural person. I love natural things, but I've always loved that kind of juxtaposition of something that feels very natural, but then something that's sparkly, that lifts it. So I think that's that kind of, yeah, texture play that I really enjoy. And in terms of even our jewelry, using some of the semi-precious stones, which have more a matte finish, or even the heart necklace I'm wearing today, which the gold has a very matte finish, but then it has these lovely sparkly tourmaline stones in it. So I love that play on texture and color. And I think in our outfits, as I was saying before, with texture, I think that's how you add interest and personality. So I would encourage women to just try something, but try it one thing at a time, not go all out. But just try one thing, adding a little bit of sparkle, or a great belt or a scarf, or obviously for us it's jewelry, but just try little things and sort of reflect on how it makes you feel.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Try one thing at a time. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't go and do a
Yeah,
whole new makeup look and then new hair and a whole new outfit. Like, yeah, one at a time, one thing at a time. I love that. And also, just the word that you used just then really resonates a lot with me because I had a coaching session the other day. Well, I had, yeah, an astrology coaching session the other day with
wonderful. Yeah.
my astrology coach. And I said to her, I know for me personally, sometimes confidence, and also another word for me that I find sometimes hard to tap into is pleasure. And that's
Mm,
obviously for, other reasons, but it can be for
mm,
this as well. But
mm.
one word that I seem to be able to access those things through, almost like a portal, is joy. And I
Yes,
think what you said about just try that one piece that you really want to give a go and do it for the joy of it. Do it just for
yes,
the fun of it, do it for the joy of it. And then, like you said, you'll find after you've already got it on and then you just get out there and get on with your day, you are feeling more confident. You are feeling more, feminine or magnetic or attractive or beautiful or wonderful or happy or whatever the thing might be. And I just really think, yeah, bringing it back to the joy of it really will help
yes.
you access the other things you want to feel.
Yeah. And I think you can't be too serious about fashion either. I think sometimes we can overthink it, perhaps. And, for me, getting dressed is the joy in dressing. And, that goes from being a child and having that sense of playfulness. And I grew up with my mum. She was a dressmaker. So Alana, my sister, and I had this fantastic dress up box of all these gorgeous dresses that mum had made. And a lot of the time they had beautiful embellishments and handcrafted detail, whether it be beading or sequins or a lurex thread through a beautiful silk fabric. So that's where my love of clothing and accessories came from. And I think we were always encouraged to just get in there and play around. And I remember sitting at my grandma's dresser and, playing around with all, again, coming back to that magpie, anything that was sparkly. She had a lot of brooches and things like that. So I think don't take fashion too seriously. And, if you can tap into, as we said, just that one or two special pieces that make you feel joyful and alive. And, I think also what happens is that people notice, and so you get compliments, and that just, fuels that even more so. So it's discovering the joy in dressing again and not taking things too seriously.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big focus for me is discovering the joy of expressing myself again through personal style because, I had my fashion blog for 7 years and I used to do that all the time. And it was something I documented and obviously shared the whole time. And then obviously I stopped that about 5 years ago and then I moved states twice. I've turned 40. I've gone through quite tough things in my personal life, and all of that kind of does, yes, it can absolutely give your personal style or your sense of self-worth and identity, especially as a woman, that can really take a battering. And
Mm,
so
mm.
for me, it is really about bringing it back to joy again, like going and just doing that bloody makeup lesson that I've wanted to do for the last couple of years and having fun with it and just being open and curious and willing to play and experiment. And now
Mm.
I'm like really going to shift that into my wardrobe and how I choose to get dressed every day. And, all of that comes together. And it is, I just think like what you've been saying is just, it's so important for our mental health. It's
Yes.
so important for our emotional well-being. It's so
Hmm.
important for how we see ourselves and care for ourselves, and
Hmm.
then also how we then show up in other people's lives as well. And I agree with you. I don't think we should take fashion too seriously. I think we should have fun with it.
Mm.
And also, I think we should never underestimate the power of it either.
Absolutely. I think you can really change your mood in an instant. I think, as I said, when I was having those days when I just felt so teary and not myself, that's probably, it's what on some days what saved me almost is that okay, I've always sort of getting dressed and particularly accessories as well, like being a sort of armor and not armor as in protecting you from something, but armor as in giving your power back and giving you that confidence to go and step out and think, okay, I can do this. And I think even working on my own sometimes is, you do feel sort of quite isolated and lonely. And I started getting a lot of anxiety. And I think, as you were saying, you get to sort of 40 and you think, okay, I got this. And you even more so heading towards 50, you're thinking, oh, I'm through, you're still raising my kids kind of, but you're through that real sort of young children stage. And in terms of work wise, you're gaining a lot of confidence, you get a lot of wisdom, you think, oh, actually, I do actually know a lot. And then whammo, you get hit with this anxiety and doubt and yeah, ability to think positively about yourself, a lot of negative self-talk and that sort of thing. So I think using clothing, to help you even get out the door some days is just like put on a great blazer with a pair of jeans and some cool shoes and then some amazing earrings or ring or necklaces. And it does give you power and it does boost your mood and confidence. So I think it can't be underestimated. And don't save things. I think that's another thing that we tend to do. Oh, I'll save that for good. Well, it's kind of what is good? What is, of course, you'll have special occasions, but I think wear the dress, wear that gorgeous dress and put a more casual jacket over it and some trainers or something. But I love seeing women push boundaries and wearing a gorgeous dress when it's not a special occasion, but just because they wanted to feel amazing that day.
I couldn't agree more. And I've been trying to do more and more of that myself is, just bringing out that beautiful dress. Like, okay, just because you bought it for your birthday doesn't mean you can only wear it like for that birthday and then never again. It's like, no, I wore that beautiful spell dress that my husband bought me for my birthday to my birthday drinks. And then I wore it again out when we were just going out locally. And then I wore it again when we went out for a night out dancing in Brisbane. And it was, it's a piece that brings me so much joy. And the funny thing is, because it's so colorful and because it has so many different prints within it, and it just reminded me of, I'm like, oh, I actually have a tattoo on the inside of my right wrist that says, "There she is." And I did
I
that
love that.
when I did a little personal project when I wanted to reconnect to my radiance again a few years ago. And I have it there to remind me that the woman that I want to be is always within arm's reach. She's always within reach. And yeah, and it's just really interesting. And I would encourage any other woman listening to go into your wardrobe and like just pick out one or two or maybe three pieces that make you feel so freaking happy when you wear them and take notice of why. Because for me, one of those pieces would be that spell dress, and it's called the Aphrodite bias cut
Oh,
dress.
the perfect name.
Yeah, totally. And I'm like, cool, what do I love about this? Okay, I love the neckline. It's very flattering on me. I love all the colors. They're really bright. They really make me pop. I love the cut of it. It skims my curves without clinging to anything. So that makes me comfortable. I can still go out and eat.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's just those little things and I'm like, cool, okay, the color, the prints, the way it skims my curves and actually makes a feature of them rather than me trying to hide myself. That's what I need to be looking for in every
Mm.
single piece I bring into my wardrobe, right?
Yeah, I love that. And I
Yeah.
think more and more as we get older, we get to know our shape and what suits us. And
Yes.
I know myself, like you, I'm obsessed with dresses. I just love the way dresses make you feel. They make you feel so feminine when there's, it might be a full skirt and it's swishing around your legs and, or it might be a little bit low cut. So you've got a beautiful necklace on and it shows a bit of cleavage for that bit of sexiness. Or even it might be a beautiful long sleeve and a high neck and then it's a bit shorter. So you're showing a little bit of leg or something. But I think as we get older, we do know our bodies. And like you said, take notice of why that makes you feel like that? Is it the pattern? Is it the fabric that it's silk and it glides over your body? Is it that it's clinging in all the right places, where you want it to cling? Or is it because it's loose? And as you said, you can go out for dinner and, and that's kind of why I love caftans as well, because I think they can just look so glamorous, but they skim over everything. And so you feel entirely comfortable as well. So, I think do really tap into why you love something and then look for those things. So if you're looking, I'm a big believer in Depop and circular fashion and that sort of thing. And, once you think you've finished with something, then sell it and get something else on Depop. I think it's such a great way to shop. And, there's so much timeless fashion out there. So, and I think it's nice to tap into trends if they work for you and to sort of interpret them in your own personal way. But don't be afraid, as we were saying before, about, oh, is it in fashion? I think there's ways of kind of interpreting things that are in fashion, but do it in your own ways. Do it so that you feel original and a little bit different. It's nice to be different. It's nice to stand out.
Absolutely. You can never tell me that leopard print or pink are out of style. I refuse to listen. I'm sorry. I don't care. That and like
Leopard
maybe
prints are neutral to me. It's a
exactly. Thank
neutral.
you. Oh my God. See, we're like soul sisters on this level, right? And like, yeah, and a great aviator style pair of sunglasses. Like
Absolutely.
those are the kinds of things that will always speak to me and I will always wear. But
I'm with you on that.
I am really interested to know because, as I said before, I turned 41 this year. I turned 41 in September. You turned 50 this year.
I
First of all,
did.
congratulations on entering a new fabulous decade.
Thank you.
I would love to know a couple of things actually. First,
Yeah.
what do those of us who are at the start of our 40s, what do we have to look forward to the further we move through our decade of being in our 40s?
Mm.
That's my first question. My second question is, what are you most excited about for your 50s?
Okay. Well, to answer your first question, I think obviously getting through perimenopause is a massive stage of that sort of 40 to 50s. And there is a lot of change. But I think it's also a really lovely time because a lot of women, there's a lot more conversation about it. So I feel like connecting with the sisterhood almost is a really lovely, although Perry has its so many ups and downs, it's brought my girlfriends and I closer. We've started a book club. Probably, if you have children, your time is freed up a little bit more. They're becoming a little bit more independent. And I think this is just a beautiful opportunity, as I said, to connect with girlfriends and encourage one another and create things like book clubs, create opportunities for connection, I think. And it's been lovely to see a lot of my girlfriends step into a real confidence too. And I think a lot of women come to a certain point and they think, I don't have to worry about what people think anymore. That was my 20s and 30s. And now, I know who I am. I know who my circle of friends are. I know that's unconditional. And I don't have anyone to impress anymore. And I'm just going to be myself. And, I think for a long time, I had such a lack of self-confidence. And even in starting Lanamara, I was a very late bloomer starting this brand. And it's because I just never really had much self-confidence. I didn't really think I could do it. I didn't think I was talented enough. I didn't think I was creative enough. I didn't think I had the business sense. But there was a real light bulb moment for me, I think in my early 40s, and I thought, why not me, actually? Why shouldn't I? I could see all these other people starting brands and things, and I thought, life is actually too short. And my husband had lost a close friend, and, I think, well, why take that leap? If you're willing to work hard and you're passionate about it, and creativity and fashion has just always come so naturally to me that it just felt right. And I thought, well, yeah, it is going to be me. And I have, and then on to your next question, I'm so excited about the next 10 years and beyond and building Lanamara. And to me, Lanamara is my life. I'm part of Lanamara. And so I don't probably separate my personal and my business life because I live and breathe it. That's what happens when you have a brand. It's 24/7, and I go to bed thinking about it and often wake up thinking about it. And I just have so many ideas about where I want to take this brand. I want to start an apparel collection this year as well. But it's not only that what I'm excited for, I'm excited for the connection and the community that I'm going to build as well. And I have all these ideas about starting a walk. I have ideas about doing the Camino Trail in Spain, and I would love to bring the Lanamara community along with that and start, short walks and then, end up doing some huge ones and building this community around Lanamara that makes women feel, and men feel amazing and feel connected and feel spiritual and grounded and just a lot of love. I think, people are supposedly more lonely than ever, um, with social media, with whatever those factors are. So to me, Lana Mara is much more about connection and community and making people feel that they belong, that it's a safe space that they belong to. And, if we can mix a bit of fashion and accessories into that mix, then I'll be happy. And also, probably another reason I wanted to do this brand is for handcraft. And so that's connecting with my artisans and, keeping that alive because I think there's a lot of things that still, feel mass produced. And obviously, fashion is such a huge environmental polluter, the worst really in the world. And so, keeping that in mind and being intentional about what we create as well. So, yeah, I'm hugely excited for what that looks like.
So good. So, so good. I love all of that. Okay, before I ask you my final question,
Yes.
I would love to know, out of all your wisdom, your styling wisdom when it comes to jewelry in particular, because you have this beautiful brand called Lanamara, which every woman listening needs to go and check out. Um, Out of all of your styling wisdom when it comes to jewelry in particular, what is one little jewelry styling tip or trick you would love for the women listening to try for themselves?
Look, I think it's probably it's two things. I think it's tricolor. I think we the jewelry scene is so saturated by gold, obviously, at the moment compared to silver or white gold. But then I think it's going that next level in adding a semi-precious stone and a little bit of color to something because we all have, a great t-shirt or pair of jeans. So it's important to have a good, capsule sort of just some timeless pieces in your wardrobe. But try adding a statement earring with some amazing stones in it, or try a necklace which has got some semi-precious stones in it because I think again, as I said before, sometimes people think it sounds a little bit woo-woo, but trying something and really believing and tapping into the energy and the essence of what a stone is, whether that's rose quartz or lapis or something like that, and feeling like you're wearing something that's either protecting you or lifting your mood or grounding you is a lovely way for you to connect with yourself as well. And I know even with motives like our heart necklace and things like that, it just is something that makes me feel really special when I put it on. And it's something that I do I think, to connect with myself. And so I love that about our semi-precious stones. And I think that's something a little bit different, what we offer to what is out there as well. So tap into the joy of color.
I love that. That's really nice. I really love what you said there about, color isn't just a way to express yourself, it's also a way to connect to yourself as well.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah,
And those stones in particular, like I've always been a crystal girl. I love my crystals. I've got them all over my house and they work. They really do work. And it's beautiful. And why not adorn yourself in that and, give yourself that opportunity to feel however you want to feel.
absolutely.
Yeah, especially that connection to yourself. I love that. Okay, last question before I let you go. I believe that within each one of us as women exists the essence and the spirit of the creatress because as women, we are all here on earth to inherently create something in our
Yes,
lifetimes. So that's why this series is called the Creatress Tapes.
I
And
love the name.
thank you. So I would love to know if there's a woman listening to you right now and she just wants to tap into that energy, that essence, just a little bit more and bring it out, bring it forward just a little bit more. What would you most want her to know?
Um, Look, I think we are all such unique individuals, and I think often when we're growing up, we feel pressure to be a certain way or act a certain way. And it's what I see so much strength in my daughter, actually. She just inspires me so much. She's got this dyed kind of reddy auburn hair, and she's just got a tattoo, which actually really upset me to start with. Um, but she has this amazing confidence, and I've been reflecting on that recently. And I was such a people pleaser when I was younger, and I don't see that in her. She's just herself, and that is such a beautiful thing. So don't be afraid to express who you are, and don't be silent. Give your opinion, and it's valued. Whatever you feel, whatever is deep inside you is the person that you are. And for so many years, I stayed silent, and I'm finding my voice more. And I think find your voice and back yourself, and just don't be afraid to be you. I think it's really important. And it's actually scary, and it is hard to start with. But once you say something, you it's not like it's addictive, but you get a little bit more confident every time you might voice your opinion, or say something that not everybody agrees with or whatever. Every time you speak your truth, you'll get more confident in speaking your truth, and then you will feel authentically you.
Yes, I love that so much. And, no longer being a people pleaser, but being true to yourself and speaking your truth doesn't mean that you have to be unkind. It doesn't mean being nasty. It just means being honest. And you can do that with love.
Absolutely. And I always, I'm such a heart-centered person, and have always tried to instill kindness as, probably the most important character that you can have, and also listening to people. So even taking the time to listen to people, you can still voice your opinion and you can actually have some really beautiful conversations, and understanding someone else's perspective on something. So I completely agree with what you're saying.
Love that. So much wisdom to be shared and received when we open up and be ourselves. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So good. Thank you so much for your time today, my love. This has been the best conversation, and you will continue to be one of my favorites on Instagram. So please keep sharing your outfits and please keep showing up on camera and showing us how to style our jewelry. We love you.
Thank you, Sonia. It's been such a pleasure. So lovely to chat with you and hear about what's going on with you as well. So thank you.